Hi, everybody. I'd like to do something very different in a couple of ways today. First, I'm going to be doing my very first silent movie review here on my channel. But in addition to that, I'm going to tell you about something I'm going to go to now and then, and that is my own notes that I collected years ago. For years and years, I used to watch a lot of movies, maybe 1,000 of them or so, and I would have notes that I've kept since then with the dates on when I watch them, and I will consult them from time to time so I can have a lot of movies for you. Although they're not new views right now, all of them, a lot of my movie reviews are going to be things I've just watched here and now. But for older movie things that I've watched but don't remember, I'm going to consult my notes. We're talking here about a 1920. That's incredible. A 103-year-old film here, silent, called The Penalty, starring the great Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney Sr., not to be confused with his son Lon Chaney Jr. And back then, at around the time that I watched this, which the notes say were 2006. So it was been 17 years since I wrote these notes, 17 years since I've seen this movie. And what's also fascinating when I took the movie off the shelf back there is that I noticed that this has never been opened. It's still sealed. And it's even got the name on the top there on DVD. And for this is a Kino video release. Now, what happened was I used to rent Netflix movies, and I would get the Netflix movies on a rental basis. They'd come to your house in the mail, you'd watch them, and then you'd mail them back and get some more. And I was doing that fluently, you know. And back in the day, I must have really liked, I remember I liked it, but didn't remember too many details of it till I reread my notes. I liked it enough that I went out and bought the DVD. I said, this is a good rental. I'm going to want to own this, and I bought it just to show you how many years go by, and you don't always necessarily rewatch stuff. This has never been opened, even though I loved it when I saw it. All right, so I'm going to consult my notes from time to time if you see my eyes wandering, not just because I have to help myself along. I've already read my review a couple of times, so I'm reacquainted with it. But this movie, The Penalty, it's the first starring role for Lon Chaney. He's terrific, playing a double amputee whose legs were both needlessly cut off as a boy by a young doctor who felt it was required to save the child's life after a serious accident. The boy eventually grows up to be an embittered underworld leader looking to settle the score. And he's got a chip on his shoulder. Chaney gives a great performance, and it's still amazing today. Back then I said today, 86 years later. Now I'm going to say today, 103 years later. Boy, time flies. And he's painfully contorting his body to produce the needed effect. Utilizing only his talents and ingenuity. You know, he was the man of 1,000 faces, a makeup master. And he's using that, of course, in place of today's CGI effects. And sure, Hollywood would have used CG back then if they'd had it, and as a luxury, but I still find it more mesmerizing as a film fan this way, what Chaney had to go through to produce this result. What he did was, he kind of went on his knees, and there's a picture back here. He kind of went on his knees, and acted on his knees, and his legs were pulled up against his back, and they would be strapped to his back, so he could just work on his knees and his legs wouldn't be showing. They put a couple of, cups things on the bottom to simulate his missing legs. And he wore this long overcoat to conceal the legs that weren't there and that were strapped up behind his back, And he acted like that, He hobbled about on his knees that way and gave the effect of having no limbs. The direction in this is solid. The story is consistently interesting and multi-layered. It's very easy to sympathize with Lon Chaney's character through his very strong performance, but I felt that the way his criminal behavior was explained for the conclusion of the movie was a tad of a letdown. So the ending wasn't too good. I originally gave this 3 out of 4 stars. Good. Not great, good. And I remember really enjoying it. Like I say, so much so that I went ahead and obviously bought the DVD. 17 years, it makes you wonder, do I have 17 years? 17 years, time flies. Anyway, folks, The Penalty, good movie.